Hello and welcome to the first tutorial for Calcusign. This will be tutorial 1. We'll be going over a standard direct burial pylon sign. At this point, you should already have your account information and your login information that you would have gotten when you created an account in the first step. So now you'd start at Calcusign.com and you would hit the login button. It'll bring you to the login page. Input the email and the password you used when you created your account, and you log in. Once you're into the site, you will have this main page that will show you our tool suite. At this time, the only design option you have is for pylons, but we are working on blade signs, wall signs, and awnings, which will work very similar to pylons and will be available as we finish them. So for this example, again, we'll be using the pylon button. So you click Create a Pylon Sign. Once you click Create a Pylon, you will start with an Overview tab. This page allows you to give us some pedigree information for the project manager information, and any notes that may be helpful either for your team if they look back at this, or for our team when we get it for engineering. So for here, for project name, we'll add tutorial 1, direct burial. Project manager, put Tom A, and then manager email. All right. Anything you put on this page when you submit for engineering will come along with your project, which is really where we're going to save a lot of time with this stuff. Any of the notes, attachments, project information will all get into our project management software, which will allow us to turn around these projects even quicker than we have been in the past. For the project notes, you can put any notes here. If there's soil conditions we need to know about, if there's criteria that you need to hit for certain spots, or anything, just notes here. After you fill out all that, you can upload any files that would be helpful for us either while engineering or for your final stamping. If you have artwork or brand books that you guys and your company have already worked on, you can send that with the pylon design once you build it out, and everything will follow again to our project management software. So here you just select file. We'll throw our logo in here, and new logo is now in queue, ready to be uploaded. You have to make sure you hit this upload button. It'll say 100%, and then once it's in and successfully uploaded, you'll see it here in project files. So at this point, that's pretty much all you can do on this overview page. Then you would hit this next button up here, which will bring you to the site detail page. Here you could put site name. Again, all the information you put on this page will actually wind up going through to the final output plan set with your site name, your address, the map, the plot plan. All of those things will be incorporated into your final drawing. So you want to be as specific as you can. Site name will do Murdoch Engineering Offices, and our address. Now, when you put in the address, it'll pull it up. It's using Google and a wind API that we have programmed into here. Once you get all this stuff in, you have to hit get wind speed. The way the site works, you can't get to the next step if you don't input all the proper information. So you have to make sure that you hit everything as you go through. And the flow of this, you can go back and forth, but you really want to keep it just like know your criteria and just flow, downhill with this. Just keep putting the info in and continuing through the process. So you hit get wind speed here. It'll bring up a map. You could do 3D map. And there's our offices. Not only is it bringing that up, but it's pulling the wind speed and the snow loads, as you can see down here, for this area, which is going to go into the back end of this now and help design the pylon as we go through the next steps. So once you get all this in, go next to cabinet. Here's where you could build out your sign cabinets, your boxes, your sign pole, and it gives a quick 2D reference drawing to the right of this. So for this one, we'll just do a quick and easy 25 foot tall single cabinet we'll make the width of the cabinet, let's say 14 feet. Height of the cabinet, we can make 8. Depth, you won't see in this 2D drawing, but it is used for the calculations. So if you know you have a 2-foot cabinet, 3-foot cabinet, just put that in here. And PSF of the cabinet, minimally, we use 10 pretty much across the board for most of the stuff you guys are doing now. If you know your weight and it's a lighter board or the cabinet's made of something, that's just lighter material, and it's 8 PSF instead of 10, you could put that in, but you do not have to change that one. Just going with the 10 that it starts with will work pretty much all the time. So after you get all this criteria in here, again, hit next, and we'll get to a supports page. Now here is where you have a bunch of different options to get this sign built out the way that you're looking to do it. For this one, we said we're going to do direct burial. So you can see up here where it says type. We're on direct burial right now. There's a base plate option as well. That will be covered in another tutorial. For now, we're just going to stick to direct burial, but this is where you would swap between those, whether it be direct burial or base plate. Also, if this wasn't a single pole design, here you could pick a single footing where both poles would go into the same footing, or footings per support. This one, single footing or footing per support, would be the same thing since it's only one pole. So we will just keep that as single footing. You can also check pole material type here, but you will see that there's a note here that says aluminum not available for signs taller than 15 feet. We've locked in the aluminum design to 15 feet because that's about as high as we like to see aluminum design signs go. So it would have to be 15 feet or less in order to get the aluminum option. So for this one, it will have to be steel. You could then add extra supports here if you wanted to and make it a 2-pole. We'll get into that in another one as well, another tutorial. For now, we're just going to keep it as a single support. You also can add in this step match plates if you needed to break up this sign, if it were too tall and you needed a match plate, or if you wanted to put a match plate at the top of the head for the sign cabinet, you can do that. Again, we'll hit that in other tutorials, but just for now, just an overall of what these buttons are doing. So for this one, we're going to keep it at that, 25 foot tall with the cabinet that we've selected. So now we get to the pole page. Right now, again, all options here that you will see are all steel because we are in a sign that's higher than 15 feet. For this one, let's just pick a standard HSS square. So this first type here is where you could pick pipe, rectangular tube, square tube, round pipe, or I-beams. This one will go square tube. And this next line is sort order. Depending on how you like to look at your steel sizes, tube size, section modulus, weight per foot, we gave different ways to sort it. We're going to keep it on tube size for now. And that's just strictly letting the program know how to order the sizing at the next step. So we'll keep it in tube size and then steel type. It's going to start at a 500 grade B. If you want to increase that to grade C, you can, but standard sizing and steel that you usually get would be grade B, so we'll keep that there. Once you pick all that criteria, here's where you can now pick your shapes that work for this sign. So since you already put your wind load and the snow load and it knows the size of the cabinet and the height and everything, it is only allowing this A6 shape drop down to give you sizes that will work for this sign. As you can see, it's starting at 8 by 8 by half. That is the first member size for this size sign that will work with the criteria we gave it, all the way up to it goes to the top. So here's where you could pick what size you want. If you want to just go with value engineered minimums, you can go with the minimum, which is always going to pick the minimum. If for some reason you need to do aesthetics and you want a larger pole, you go to a 10 by 10, 12 by 12, whatever it may be. So for this one, let's just change it a little. We'll go 10 by 10 by half. And as you see, it changes it there and calls it out. Now done with the pole section, go to the footings. It'll start off with a round footing. You could choose it to square footing. And if you have an area where you have a high water table, or you just have to fit within some criteria given in the field, and you need a spread footing design, you can click the spread footing required button here, which will allow you to get to the next step without putting in any criteria. But for this one, we're going to go with a round footing, and down here, it's now giving you minimums. Based on your diameter, it'll tell you what the minimum depth needs to be. So if we change the diameter, a 6-foot auger is kind of hard to find sometimes. Let's do like a 4-foot, and then it'll show you your minimum is 8 feet, and it'll change that. So it'll update your drawing here. This gives you everything, and again, everything that's happening right now is all a working model based on the criteria and the calculations it's doing in the background. You then go to the next step, and this is your complete the project step. So at this point, you already have your files that you uploaded on the first overview page. You have any notes that were in the original request from the overview page. And here, if you want to add any other notes, whether it be a question about the process or anything really for this particular sign that you came up with as you were going through the process, you can add additional notes here. And they will also be going to our project management software, so we'll get them as we go through. So then, this is pretty much your final step. At this point, you have two options. If you are just doing this as an estimating purposes, and you're not going to send this one for engineering yet, you do not have to send it to us in order to get a printout. That's the best part of this. We're trying to empower our clients to have the ability to do more estimates and more accurate estimates and hopefully bid on more jobs without actually having to incorporate us into the mix and have some extra days added. Just, you can get it all right here. So now everything you put in, you just hit download the PDF of the project, and it will generate a 4-page PDF. Now on this PDF, your company name will come to here, whatever criteria you put in. The project title that you put in comes over to here, and the address, the plot plan, and your sheet index. Also on the design specs, you can see that the wind and the snow that was pulled from your address also goes there. The drawing that you drew out is on page 2. It shows you a front elevation of the height of the sign, the size of the cabinet, the pole size, and the footing diameter and sizing needed. Third page is the design output. It's not a full calculation packet, but it is the final design outputs of what the maximums are for this project. The torques, the moments, footings, and also will give you how many concrete yards you would need for the footing that is above. Last page, just a general notes page, and just hitting all the notes that we would typically put on a project that you would need for submittal. This now can be used, like I said, as your estimate, or you can go back to Calcusign. If this is, if you use it for an estimate, they liked it, you now need it engineered. The other button here that says send project to engineering for final review and stamp. If you were to click this, you'll get a confirm your submission. This is where you can pick. If you needed a spread footing assistance, it would be up here. If you needed base plate assistance, that would be checked. For this condition, we didn't do any of that. If you need a formal calculation packet and the design output isn't enough for you, you can click, I would like a formal calculation packet. It adds the cost for that, which is $35, and it brings it down to the total cost down here. For Calcusign, we are making a pylon up to 25 feet, $200. Anything above that to the max, which is about 50 feet, is $300, plus any additionals if you need hard copies, calculation packet, or any of that. If you would like to receive hard copies, you'd click this button. If you do not click the hard copy received, you will only receive an electronic PDF signed and sealed of the project that you worked through. For this one, just to show, we can add hard copies. The address that you put on when you made your company name will come here. That's the address we will ship to. If you need it shipped to a different address, an installer, or somewhere else that's not what your company address was when you created it, that's the point of this here. You can add additional address, and we will know that address when it comes through, and we will ship to there. Once you have all your criteria in here that you needed, you need to confirm all of this before we allow submittal, just to make sure everything's correct. So please confirm all. This total cost will be your cost estimate based on everything that we have here. As long as everything you gave us is the criteria that we needed and nothing changes, this would be your cost for total engineering. So you have a price estimate for engineering right off the bat. Once you get to this spot, you just hit submit. And this will take everything we put together, and you'll get a congratulations project sent off to Murdoch Engineering. From this section, once it goes to us, it's going into our project management software. All the criteria that you guys put in comes in with it. The goal here is for minimal communication back and forth. As long as we get what we need in, we will easily be able to turn this around. Our goal is a 3-day turnaround, which for the past year that we've been doing our beta and testing, we've hit the 3-day turnaround as long as everything that we got is correct. So pretty much that would be the end of how you do a direct burial pylon with Calcusign. Please, if you have any questions for any of this, you could send questions to admin@calcusign.com. And look through the rest of the tutorials. We're going to put a tutorial out for a lot of different criteria just to kind of try to help you guys go along and learn our program. Really hope that you enjoyed this program, that it helps your workload, your speed, and we look forward to working with all of you guys. Thank you so much. Have a good one.